Hey everybody, it's Will with Military Lawn Cuts, and in today's video, we're gonna be talking about 3 tactical sales tips that you can implement in your day-to-day process to close more sales and sell more jobs. Now, before I get into the 3 practical and tactical tips that you can implement today, I want to start to build some framework for you around the concept of selling, because there's a really negative connotation around it, and unfortunately a lot of salespeople get a bad name or rep because they're definitely doing it improperly. So I want to equip you today with the right mindset as you walk into the negotiation with a customer, whether it's a customer that calls for lawn services or you're doing a quote for a project on a customer's property, and being able to communicate to the customer effectively in a caring approach, not a super sales-like where you're only worried about the numbers and the money that you're gonna make. We're here to help people. So I will tell you to start off, the number 1 skill that you should learn that is required in all aspects of life is selling. And what I will tell you is that everything you do, you're either selling someone or you're being sold by someone. That is what literally makes the world go around, okay? I'll give you an example. Someone that meets a future spouse or a girlfriend, they're selling themselves on why they are a good human, a good person, have good foundation, good morals to this other person, to hopefully one day get married to them, all right? I was just watching a football game the other day for the NFL, and the sports announcers are selling the game and the players and the story behind their journey to make it to the NFL, because that's their job. They're selling this image and they're entertaining people. And so even if it's just local, with, you get home and your family is like, hey, let's go to the Mexican restaurant, but you're like, you really want pizza, right? You have to sell your idea to people to get what you want in life. So this is very imperative, because whatever you do in life, you're going to need the ability to learn how to sell. And it correlates in business, it correlates in relationships, and it correlates in all aspects of your life. So this is very, very important. The other thing that I wanted to mention, again, before we get into the 3, because I want to build this framework properly for you, that most salespeople, when they go out, and when we think of the salesperson, we're like, oh, that pesky guy that keeps coming and knocking on the door, and you try to close it and say, no, thank you, sir, but he's like, no, wait, hold on. Right? That's not the type of selling that I would want you to do or represent our company or your own company. All right? So the type of selling that we want to do is we're equipping the customer to make a decision. That's all we want. And it's okay if it's a no. But we as salespeople need to use our ability to communicate effectively and understand that we are not in a product or a service industry when we're selling, okay? We are in the service-based industry, but when we're selling, we're not just trying to sell our service. We're not just trying to sell lawn care. We're not just trying to sell mowing lawns. What we're trying to do, we are in the people business. We are in tune with the customer and asking questions of like, hey, what is the problem? What's going on with the lawn? How long has this been going on? So that way we can understand. It's like, A, can we help this person? Or B, can we not? That's all we're doing. We're trying to create common ground with the customer to hopefully be able to help them. I love helping people. That's what I'm passionate about doing. And so for me, sales, I'm here to help people. If I know that I can help somebody, that's what I want to do, right? So that's kind of the framework. Now let's get into the 3 tactical steps. Hopefully that made sense. So these are 3 tactical tips and practical things you can absolutely implement, whether you're doing over the phone or in-person projects. So number 1, we are going to use the tactic called double closing. All right, what is double closing? So this is a really good tactic. After you've communicated to the customer, found out what their concerns are, what they're needing, and understand that we can help them, then you go through the process of giving them the price and all it entails. And now you come to the part where it's the double closing. So the double closing is basically this. When you present to them the numbers and what it entails, after that, instead of just stopping of like, hey, here's your mow, it's gonna be $45. Instead of just stopping like that, what you do is you say, do you wanna get put on this week's schedule or do you wanna start your services next week? What this does is it equips the customer to, number one, be in control and be the decision maker and you not force it on them. And number two, it's assuming that they're going to sign up. And that should be the mindset. If they have a need and we can fix it, they should be signing up, right? So using the double close factor is a phenomenal approach. Another approach, kind of an example of this is like, again, once you present to them the offer of what it entails, so it's gonna be mowing, it's gonna be $45. Do you wanna pay with ACH or would you like to use a card? Again, we're using a double close tactic here. I promise you this will help close more jobs and allow you to sell more projects. All right, number two. The second thing is we're going to use the yes factor. Now, what is the yes factor? So, the yes factor is, to sum it up in a few words, we want the customer to say yes to the questions that we're answering as many times as physically, humanly possible while we're walking them through our process of how we do service and how we do business, okay? And again, this is after you've already vetted them and understand like, okay, yes, they're a right fit for our company. Now we need to hopefully be able to help them. So a perfect example, so we do submission forms in the office. So typically back in the old day, I used to call a customer and be like, hey, we got your information for lawn services. Just wanted to reach out and see how we could help. That's not a yes or no question. That's a very open-minded question, and then they're probably gonna tell us what they need, and that's like subpar okay, but what a better approach for the yes factor is, because my goal is to make them say yes as many times as possible, so that way when we get to the offer part at the end, they've been saying yes this whole time, so yes, let's get it, let's sign it up, right? So a better approach would be, hey, Mrs. Jones, we got your submission form that you filled out. Is that correct? That you were the one that filled this out? Obviously, they're gonna say yes, their name's on it, their phone number's on it, their email's on it, okay? So again, we're getting them to say yes. Another thing, when we're over the phone, hey, so I see you're in this neighborhood. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. Got it, awesome, sounds good. And then I noticed that you were requesting a quote for bush trimming. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. You see, they just said yes 3 times, and I'm gonna make them say yes another 3 more times. So when we get to the offer, they've been saying yes this whole time, they're gonna say yes and sign up, all right? So that's called the yes factor, all right? Very, very powerful tactic to use. All right, number 3. All right, so this is going to be one of the most important factors when you are selling services, okay? So we have scarcity and urgency. This is one of the biggest levers that you can pull as an estimator over the phone, because at the end of the day, we can't service all of America yet. We can't service all of Texas yet. We can't service even all of our town. There's 50,000 people in our towns. And so there is scarcity. There's only so much demand that we can service. So using this tactic and being truthful about it, of like, hey, okay, so for example, you have one truck. If you have one truck and you have 2 team members, there's only X amount of lawns that they can physically do in a 40-hour work week. It's just a man capable of doing the X amount of labor in a 40-hour work week, okay? So whatever that is, use your scarcity and urgency to close the customer. When you portray them and say, hey, sir, ma'am, we can do that mulch job for $350. However, we only have 2 spots left for this week or for the following few weeks because it's spring rush and we're super busy. So if you really want this job done, it would be best if you let me know now and we could squeeze you in at the end of this week on Friday and get this taken care of for you and you don't have to worry about it, right? Scarcity, urgency, that is what we're talking about, all right? So these are the 3 tactical ways that you can I promise you, if you use the double close, the yes factor, the scarcity and urgency, you will sell more jobs and you will have a higher close ratio when you are giving offers to customers, all right? Make sure you have the right framework. We're here to help people.